So here we are then, for one final time in 2025, this is the GB3 Championship and our reverse grid race 24 of 24 here at the Temple of Speed, Monza in northern Italy. Not the first time we've been abroad this season, but the season started back home at Silverstone at the end of April. We then went on a 3-leg European road trip, starting off by the beach in Zandvoort, then into the forest at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, and then over to Hungary. Incredible heat over there as we were just outside Budapest at the Hungaroring. Then back to Silverstone, down to Kent for Brands Hatch, Donington Park a few weekends ago, and then here at Monza, where we've already had 2 epic races this weekend. Mixed success, Piers, for the drivers. We've had Alex Inovic, our championship winner, win the first race, and finally, wasn't it great to see Deegan Fairclough, who came into this season expecting big things and has had he's come back down to earth a little bit, and you just saw with our interview, which we'll see in just a second afterwards, how much it meant to him and the high-tech team for him to finally get a win. Yeah,
after such a high last season, record-breaking season for high-tech and Deegan in F4 last year in the UK. This year, not been the year he would have hoped for. I think that's fair to say. He's been there or thereabouts, still in the hunt for that second, third, fourth battle. So it's not been a terrible season, but he would have been hoping to take a few wins this year. But his first one coming at the penultimate race of the year, very, very good drive as well. We know he can overtake, we know he's aggressive, but he showed his defensive prowess. He soaked up the pressure and took a deserved win, and he'll try and emulate, or at least use the experience from that one to have a final reverse grid race to remember.
You can imagine the smile on his face as he came across the line. Anyway, let's remind ourselves of what happened early this morning in the penultimate race of the season.
Highlights from round 23 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. It was Inovic leading from pole position on the race down to the first corner. Unfortunately, a poor start for the likes of Patrick Huizenrode. Keanu Alazari starting from 20th, got squeezed out a little bit in the back of the field, and then a whole host of lockups into the opening corner. But there was even further drama behind. Unfortunately, a bit of a crash there for Patrick Huizenrode into the side of Reza Seaworthen, and also further retirements. Newman Chi also out of the race in the opening corner. That would cause a safety car once we got back racing. It was Noah Lyle in the race lead, but the drama wasn't done yet. A couple of spins as they would work their way through the Rogia, and also some drama as they would work their way into the opening corner. Unfortunately, a bit of contact between Bart Harrison and Isaac Phelps would leave Harrison in the gravel trap and will require another safety car. Whilst we were waiting for that safety car to come out, this was happening. Bit of a push off of the road from Kabir Anurag, and unfortunately a bit of contact with the barrier from Rem. That would cause his retirement from the race, and August Raber would have this moment, bit of a lock-up into the final corner and into the barrier as well. That would leave Deegan Fairclough in the race lead. He was trying to check away from the 2 roaders behind that were battling amongst themselves, Pradel and of course Inovic. There was a spin and a bit of contact from the rear end of Lucas Felicia into the back of Kai Darianani, and the 2 of them would spin round, and unfortunately would be, it was Noah Lyle, and unfortunately the 2 of them would basically be dropped down to the rear end of the field. For Deegan Fairclough though, it was an excellent victory for the first time. So we'll take a look at the standings, of course. Ninovic well clear of everyone, and he's never going to win. Oh, he's going to run away from everyone. He's never going to be challenged, obviously. Those points gaps far too large. That's why he's the champion. Patrick Huizenrode, though, second position, 362 points. 349 for Deegan Fairclough, 348 for Gianmarco Pradel. 14 points separating second through fourth. Absolutely incredible. It does mean, though, with all those behind, Reza Seaworthen is no longer in that fight for second. Keanu Alazari will be looking for that final super license points. Noah Lyle as well, 7th position. He could potentially take 5th, but maybe that's a bit unlikely. Lucas Felicia, Will McIntyre and Abbey pulling the top 10 of the championship.
Penultimate race of the season. I know this is not when you wanted to be winning your first race, but I bet you're glad you got it done.
Yeah, I mean, finally. I've missed this feeling so much, and the team deserve it. They've put up with me all year, and yeah, to finally get a win at the end of the season is mega. All the lows have definitely come out now today, but yeah, I'm really pleased. Everyone, the support from Rocket, everyone at High Tech, I'm super pleased.
After having the record-breaking season you had last year, it must have been a real emotional roller coaster to come in and not initially get those wins, and now that, as you say, it's happened. You can go into the final race of the season later on today, and I guess a huge load off your shoulders.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to win all season, and finally, before the last race, which is a reverse grid. So a lot of weight lifted off the shoulders, but I'm just super pleased. It was a tough race, really good, hard racing as well, between Alex and Noah and Pradell. I'm a bit speechless, to be fair. I've just miss this feeling. I absolutely love it, and the team deserve it massively.
I'm almost getting a little bit sick of talking to you, but it's fine. Obviously you didn't get the race win there, but you were pushing all the way. Kind of tough conditions to get tyre into the heat into the tyres, because I mean it's early here, it's cold, and we still saw some great racing even though we had safety cars galore.
Yeah, it was a good race to obviously start on pole. We made it. Everyone made a little mistake in turn one, so that was a bit unfortunate. And then from there, obviously the safety cars made it interesting for the restarts, as well as battling with Deegan and Jumarco at the front. So that was quite nice. And coming home second is quite good. And I'm happy with the race. To be battling at the front, having a bit of fun out there. Last day of the year is quite nice.
Yeah, you have the last race of the season coming up. It'll be the last time for you in this GB3 car. Are you going to miss it?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss it. It's a real nice car to drive, especially my one. It's quite fast, so yeah, it'll be sad, but also enjoying it at the same time.
Fun little battle out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, decent little hack. I mean, race was good overall. Pretty happy with how it ended up. Around Monza, you always got to play 2 steps ahead, so I wasn't being too aggressive with any of the racing, just because there's so many overtaking opportunities. If something else happens, it can all kick off. Ended up on the wrong side of this battle, but still really happy with the result, and really good for the championship.
Another great podium for Rodin with Jean-Marco Pradell, a little bit overshadowed this season by Alex Ninovic's teammate, but has had consistent podiums throughout the season. That team is incredibly close together. We were just walking through the paddock earlier on towards the GB3 truck, and I saw Abby pulling in the distance, grasping some wood, and I ran over to her, and we ended up seeing what it was, and it was a gift from Jean-Marco Pradell, Australian wood, and he'd had it carved with a message to his teammates, and he'd given it out, one of these out to all of his teammates and everyone in the team, and it's a really nice memento, and it's nice to have such team spirit in such a successful team.
Do you know what? I actually haven't seen that before. One of the drivers giving little presents to all the teams. I'm sure it's happened, behind the scenes, but it was a really nice little memento for all the team members to have, and it shows that the camaraderie of the team is right there, and that's potentially part of the reason they've been so successful taking the teams and drivers championship this year.
Yeah, they're very, very close, actually, Jean-Marco and Abby, and it's actually painted the top of it pink, because the highlights on her car are pink as well, so it's really personalised, which I really like. She'll really treasure that gift from Jean-Marco. So it's been a fascinating weekend so far, and we saw some great racing earlier on, and Abby was massively involved in that, coming 5th, equaling her second best result from earlier on this year. Of course, she was on the podium at one of the races in Brands Hatch, and Piers caught up with her after the race to see how she was feeling.
Abby, that second race was pretty mental out there from the commentary box, but was it the same in the car?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty hectic. I'd actually planned out before the race. I knew it was really cold. I was going to go to the inside line no matter what, even though I started on the outside, and stay out of trouble, let everyone lock up over there, and me and my teammate were lying astern and just dodged all the carnage, to be honest.
Well, you predicted it pretty well. Pretty much everyone locked up. I think all four of the top 4 drivers pretty much didn't make the first corner. Then the drivers in 4th and 5th came together. That was part of the reason you made so many positions in that race, but it was still a good race from yourself as well. I mean, to get up that high, you must feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, other than the last lap my teammate got me, I was the fastest driver. I set the fastest lap, second fastest in the end, but yeah, the pace is all there. I mean, qualifying, need to start sorting out in that, but I mean, it's so many positives. The race car's been good. I mean, fortunately let car pass with a little lockup, but it was like driving on ice out there this morning. It was really, really tough stuff, so I'm not surprised. It was a bit messy from everyone, but yeah, it was good fun as well. Yeah,
track temperature almost half of what it was yesterday, and that really made a difference out there, did it?
Yeah, and all the braking zones they look shiny. I mean, it's when they're shining, it's cold and it's dewy. It's not ideal. So every time we all hit the brakes, it was either the rear or the front going, which is not ideal here at Monza when you're approaching at 260 kph. But it made for some great racing for sure. I mean, there was a lot of safety cars, so I don't think I've done as much weaving in my life, to be honest. There was a lot of weaving there, but I'm happy with that. It's shaping up to be a good weekend, but still another race to go.
And let's talk about that last race. We often see the reverse grids are pretty tasty out there. We've had a pretty tasty race too, so I'm expecting fireworks in that third one. What about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting at the front. I think P4, maybe if there's penalties, maybe further up, I don't know, I have no clue. But it was a pretty hectic race, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was something getting thrown out somewhere. But yeah, I mean, starting at the front, so I want to finish at the front for sure and end the year on a high. But I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. It's been working and, yeah, showing really great racecraft and, yeah, putting the boys through their paces, which is good. And, yeah, I mean, here it's hard to, when you're in like a 1 or 2 car slipstream, to really make the difference. So we'll try our best and see what happens.
Of course, last race of the season, you know, you've worked really well this year. You've enjoyed the year so far, I think, despite the ups and downs. Just a word on, you know, you've worked with the team, you've really enjoyed this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's fluctuated a lot this year for sure. I mean, we started on such a high and then down a little bit, but yeah, this weekend has been, yeah, I think another high. It's been one of my best finishes, P5. I think it's one of my best finishes of the year. So that's really nice, clawing back into the P10 of the championship. So after the start of the year, I don't think I'd have thought I'd be there, which is nice. And the team, I mean, they're just an incredible bunch. They're so dedicated, and the support they've given me is huge. From, you know, Ricky and David, Ben, the mechanics, and my mechanic Danny really puts some work in. I'm glad that I didn't give him much work after that race, because there's a few that are working overtime in this paddock at the moment. But yeah, they don't mind going to bed late and waking up early to make sure our cars are on track.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on a good season, even though there's been some difficulties, and we'll see how you go from the front of the grid in that last race of the year.
Thank you very much.
Great to hear from Abby. It's been fantastic having her in the championship this year. She always gives Piers a little bit of stick, actually, because you were driving the new car for next year, and Abby sent me a message saying, can Piers handle it? And as a former British F3 driver, as it was called back then, I think you took that a bit of offence.
Well, no offence. I think you'll find I did handle it. There was a small mishap. That didn't quite make the final edit, but that's okay.
It will never be seen by anyone apart from the group chat. Great to have Abby around, and she was involved in a really cool battle with Kiana Alizari. Kiana Alizari is serious overtakes. If he does that in the reverse grid race, he's going to be making up some serious points this afternoon.
Oh, outstanding race. Probably one of the drives of the season from Kiana Alizari. Despite the fact that a few cars, you know, didn't finish the race, so he gained some positions by default, he still actually overtook, I think, 5, 6, 7 cars on circuit, came to the field. He said to you, didn't he, yesterday? In fact, I'll touch on it in a minute, but he said to you yesterday, I can get in the top 5. I wasn't so sure.
Well, look, he was fourth in the end, pushing Abby, with Abby pushing him all the way even, and Piers did catch up with him, and I think he was very impressed with himself.
Keanu, you chatted to Jon yesterday, and you said, from the back of the grid, I reckon top 10's well on, top 5 potentially there. I'm going to be honest, I thought you were being optimistic. Yeah. Turns out you know far more than I do. Fourth place in the end, that's a one hell of a drive.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Like I said, definitely knew it was in there yesterday. Yeah, you could say it was a little bit optimistic, but it is also a little bit realistic, because I went and did it the next morning. So yeah, I can understand why you would think it is optimistic, but honestly, the car felt really good. The team has been doing a great job. Congrats to Deegan for winning the race as well. I think it's well deserved after all our hard work. But yeah, I really enjoyed myself in that one.
I bet you did. Let's talk about some of those moves, because we didn't catch all of them. We were concentrating large on the battle for the lead, but clearly you made some positions where people were going off, but you also had to make some moves on the road as well.
Yeah, no, I took advantage of all the situations very well. I just kept myself calm and collected, assessed what was going around and ahead of me. I mean, at one point there was a car upside down in front of me, so yeah, it was genuine carnage. But I stayed out of trouble, picked off the moves one by one, tried to keep the rhythm of the race going, and it definitely worked out very well.
Yeah, Jon chatted to your dad yesterday as well, and he said that it was unfortunate you didn't get to keep all of the positions you gained on the first start. We didn't need to this time. In fact, if anything, today's start wasn't the best, was it? You got sandwiched and had to drop back and entered turn 1 last. Still managed to come through.
Yeah, I mean, I had a really, really good start, to be honest. The car behind me, I think, did a little bit of a jump start. So yeah, I got sandwiched. I said I'd rather complete the race than take this risk. Hit the brakes, entered T1 and last, but came out of T1 like 5 places up. So yeah, everything just worked out well, and I kept my nose clean. I looked around, and that was about it. Came from last. I gained about 8 places on lap 1, and just carried that forwards. I was happy there wasn't another red flag though.
Absolutely, because otherwise you would have had to give them up again. I suppose at that point you would have been quite angry. it must be really good to have such a good result right at the end of the season. We've still got one race to go, of course, but you've already said that you're going to be racing with High-Tech again in the future. You work well with the team. To end the season strong must be giving you good confidence going into next year, whatever you end up doing.
Yeah, definitely. It's just enjoying myself, being in the car. Sometimes I'll have a tough weekend, sometimes you really enjoy it, and I think it's just one of those weekends. Obviously, we had a big setback in qualifying, but it's always going to be interesting when you're starting in the back. I can experiment at my own will, and that's exactly what I did. Put it all together this morning. And yeah, it shows the team that I am capable of doing these things. I always have been. Coming through the field was never an issue for me. Monza allows for some great overtaking. I really enjoy the circuit. And yeah, at the end of the day, all I did was get in the car and drive as I always do.
Well, Keanu, bad news is you had to go from the back again, but we know you can do it. So last race of the season, I suppose you're going to give it your all.
Yeah, I definitely will. I'm actually looking forward to it. I got some better tyres as well for the last race. Pick up some overtaking points, maybe get a few positions up in the championship. But no, I'm just going to go and enjoy myself.
I'll keep an eye on the pink car.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Keanu Al-Azhari, expecting another great drive for him to end the season. And just behind that battle with Keanu and Abby pulling was Kai Darianani with JHR, and not a great qualifying for him. We were watching qualifying with his driver coach Mike Epps, and he was frustrated with a tiny mistake, how a tiny mistake can really set you back. And it's one of those things, isn't it, as a driver, you've got to put together a lap and hope that no one gets in your way. There's so many variables, but you were impressed by Kai in that last race.
No doubt. He made, I think it was 8th place in the end, started 14th due to that small error in qualifying, and it shows how important qualifying is. Even at a circuit like this, we've just spoken to Keanu, clearly he's bucked the trend, but generally you race where you qualify. Kai didn't execute, didn't all get things quite right this year, and I think that's it. I mean, we'll talk to him in a moment, but that's his summary of the year, as he's been close, he's had good speed, but maybe not executed exactly every single session, but still he made the best of that race, stayed out of trouble and managed to gain 8 places for one of his best drives of the season, I'd say.
Feels like one of those drivers that if he was to come back next season, and we don't know whether he will be or not, that's all up in the air I guess, he would come into it knowing a lot more. He's learnt so much this season and would have a much stronger start to the season and hopefully a much stronger campaign.
Absolutely, no doubt. I think if he came back next year as a full second year driver with the experience he's gained this year, he'd be a front runner, potentially even a championship hopeful if he came back with JHR, because we know that JHR can put in a championship challenge. We've seen it with John Bennett in years gone by, Joseph Loke. He's gained a lot of experience this year. I think he's on the up in terms of his performances throughout this season, and all those little errors that you make over the year in your first year in a championship, you can just eradicate, and you've kind of done them. So then if he comes back again next year, he knows how the qualifying session will go with the tow, with the positioning of the cars, all the other little mistakes. You just polish it, and then those are the differences between drivers that are just outside the top 10 and those that are consistently in the top 10, top 5, and then going for the championship.
Well, earlier on he was enjoying the hospitality here at GB3 with his family and friends, and I sent Piers in to tear him away to talk about that race.
Kai, second race of the weekend, was very busy on circuit, and you made the most of it, gaining 8 places, getting well inside the top 10. Talk to us about how you made those places.
Yeah, it was honestly just had like a solid start, to be honest. They'd had a trouble in T1, made it past the first corner this time. Had a small bit of contact in T2, just literally got wedged from front and behind. And then, just kind of drove my race. They'd had a trouble, made some good moves, forced some errors, and just kept it clean and really, just kind of came through a little bit.
It looked like staying out of trouble was the best tactic in that race. We saw a lot of drivers going through chicanes, dropping wheels in the gravels. You mentioned the little contact to turn to. There's a little dink on the car there. That shows how close the racing has been this weekend.
100%. I think Monza usually you get quite good racing anyway, so it was kind of expected a little bit when we came here, but it was good. Like last couple of laps was just keeping the XLs behind, and I didn't have DRS either because we were fighting in and out, but it was good fun race, to be honest.
It looked like, from my perspective, that you guys started the weekend maybe a little slower than some of the other teams. A lot of the teams like Roden and High-Tech, who have got cars in championships that race here often, maybe had a bit of a head start, but you've come on strong towards the end of the weekend.
Yeah, 100%. I think definitely struggled a little bit on the first 2 days, but I think started to make improvements. We figured out it was just kind of tiny bits in multiple areas, and then just kind of chipped away a little bit at it. Yeah,
and this year has been a learning year for yourself. Of course, first full season in GB3 is a big step up from, it's been competitive, and you've done compared to what you've done before. Just talk to us about the season from your perspective this year. I know you've had really good pace at some points, maybe just other areas where things didn't go quite your way.
Yeah, for sure. I think overall it's been quite a positive first season, to be honest. Like, we had a good number of points finishes in pretty much every round. Obviously, yeah, still some things that obviously I've had to work on, and a lot of things that I've learned. But for sure, it's been like, yeah, definitely good steps in the right direction overall.
And one more race to go this weekend. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, just try to do the same again, really. Try to get the best start possible and just see what happens. Honestly, anything can happen, especially reverse grid race. So we know it's going to be pretty crazy, but I'm looking forward to it.
Especially at Monza. We've seen some pretty tasty racing so far. I've enjoyed it. Hopefully you have as well.
100%, absolutely.
Kai, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Now, I'm sure you've enjoyed seeing the new GB3 car put through its paces this year in this championship, and there are some changes coming next year, some pretty significant changes as well. And ahead of next year, we were invited to a top secret location for a mystery driver to test out that car and just see what it had to offer. Unfortunately, the mystery driver was unavailable, so we sent Piers.
Morning, we're here at Bedford Autodrome, MSV's test track, and I've got my race gear with me today. And the reason why I've got that is right behind this door. It's been a while since I put this on. It's a bit tighter than it used to be, but anyway, not important. Let's take a look at the new for 2026 GB3 car. Well, I think you'll agree the car looks great, but there's been a lot of changes underneath the hood, which I'll tell you all about when I get inside. Right, so here we are. The new upgraded for 2026 GB3 car. You've seen this car debut this year. For 2026 we've got larger engine, 2.4 litres naturally aspirated, which will give us more torque, more power for those accelerations out of the tight corners. We've also got some aerodynamic upgrades, most of which you can't see under the body, which should give us more efficient aerodynamics. I mean, I think it's a real step up. You could really feel the power. The rear tyres definitely go off, which I think is going to be an added layer to the racing over the race weekend, something the drivers are going to have to manage. The kind of grunt really means that the power and the downforce and the grip are matched, and I think it's a real statement of intent that the GB3 car is, and the GB3 Championship is still moving forward, still setting the standard in terms of junior single seaters, and I can't wait to see this on track, in action, in anger, in 2026.
Well, as we get ready for the last race of the weekend, the last race of the season here at Monza, I have to say, Piers, it's been really cool to be here at Monza. It must be like a bucket list track for most people, and I'm pleased that I've been here. You've had a good time?
It's been great. Great for the championship visiting here, but also for a lot of people, including myself. First time at Monza, and it's a really cool place, quite different to the circuits we go to in the UK in terms of the setting and the layout, and it's also nice to get some not freezing cold weather in October.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Of course, the calendar for 2026 is out right now. We'll be going to 2 new tracks, the Red Bull Ring in the Styrian Hills of Austria, which I'm really looking forward to. And of course, we end the season in Barcelona next year, so maybe a little bit late winter, late summer, early winter sun for us next year at the Barcelona track, which we know so well. And obviously it's great for the drivers as well, because they're driving on tracks that are raced on in Formula One, much like here at Monza. It's a huge importance actually that the drivers get used to these tracks, because drivers from other championships will be driving these tracks in different campaigns.
Yeah, it's something that's been added to the GB3 Championship in the last few years. We had more and more Formula One tracks, which is important for these young drivers you mentioned. A lot of the drivers in this grid will be aspiring towards Formula 1, at the very least Formula 3 and Formula 2. And the circuits that we have in GB3, they'll be going into Formula 3 and Formula 2 having raced on them in GB3, which will give them a leg up in their future careers.
Well, look, we don't want to look too far ahead, so let's just remind ourselves of where we're racing for this, the final race of the 2025 season.
The Temple of Speed hosts the season finale in the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, in the longest run from the start-finish line all the way down into that first corner at the Rettifilo. Very tricky to navigate there, such high speed into a big braking zone round Curva Grande and then into the Rogier chicane. They go through the first Lesmo, where before the second Lesmo they come across the DRS detection point, activation all the way down into the Ascari chicane, flicks left, then through a long right and then through a left again before that final run run down into the Parabolica, where they'll have that second DRS detection point and that run all the way back down into the first corner, where is the prime overtaking opportunity on the circuit. 3.6 miles all the way around, and very little in terms of elevation. It's mostly just the dip and then the rise back up into Ascari as they go under the old banking here at one of the most historical tracks in the world.
Let's ride on board with the GB3 Championship here at the Temple of Speed, Monza in 2025. This is Patrick Huizenrode on board his XL Motorsport machine. 260 kilometers an hour, 160 miles an hour down towards turn one, braking it just before the 100-meter board to slow up for the first chicane, nipping the first apex nicely and then quickly through the left second apex. We've got a wonderful tow from our teammate of Kabir Anurag ahead as we head through the Curva Grande, the world-famous corner, completely flat out. Another opportunity for the drivers to make the most of the large slipstream around this Monza circuit. Very low downforce around here, so the cars will be skittering around through the corners. The Variante Rogier next, left and then right, all the way out to the curb on the exit. Technical middle sector here as we head into the first of two Lesmos. Just watch how much speed we carry through the first Lesmo here. Barely even a brake, fighting the car through the middle and right out to the gravel on the exit. The Lesmo 2, probably the most important corner on the circuit as we have the long run down to Ascari. Now DRS open for the second time in this lap. 2 DRS zones here this weekend. One down the start-finish straight, the second right here as we go under the old circuit towards the Ascari chicane. A beautiful tow through here. Braking just before the 100-meter boards again. Very high minimum speed through here. The gravel on the right-hand side there comes up quickly. We've seen a few drivers take trips through that in practice and qualifying already. Now, just one more straight before we head to the Parabolica, another crucial corner on the lap. A beautiful tow as our teammate just drops out of the way to give us the most downforce to the final corner, braking just after 100 metres, down just one gear at full throttle before the apex, all the way out to the white line, and then cutting back to the right-hand side just to shorten the line for a full lap around the Monza circuit in GB3 in 2025.
That is the track here at Monza. It really is. Fly in the eye?
Yep.
Fly in the eye for Piers. There's a lot of midgets around, actually. I have to say, I'm kind of getting a little itchy head here as the day draws out. I'm pleased to say that actually, as you've seen throughout this pre-show, it is nice and warm now. It was pretty cold this morning, and we've had some pretty cold mornings this year, but we wanted to end in style. So we've got a nice little sunset going on a little bit later behind us. And this is the sunset on the GB3 Championship 2025.
God, you're good.
That was
God,
so
you're good.
That's why they don't pay me the big bucks. We need to talk about the grid, because the grid came through only just before we started the pre-show, really, because we were chatting with the race directors. There's a lot that goes into making sure the grid is in order, having looked at incidents in previous races, right? Their job is a hard job.
Of course, they have to look through all of the things that Lewis and I like to speculate about, but sit on the fence with.
Well, you say we'll leave it to them.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
the people. And we actually saw them earlier on, and we were saying that if we have a good race, that they tend to have a bad race, because we watch good racing and we can enjoy the result, but then they're normally looking into something
quite busy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So good job that they do. Shout out to them, as well as, of course, all the marshals who do an incredible job as well. Talking of the grid then, we have a driver racing his first weekend in GB3 on pole position. However, he knows this track better than most other drivers on the grid, because he's won here at F4 level, Maxime Rev.
And there he is.
I mean, just coming into shot here, he's going to be feeling, you would imagine, well, mixed emotions, pretty confident because he knows the track, he knows his strategy into turn one, but also a little bit apprehensive because he's only done 2 starts in this car before.
Yeah, and the starts is crucial. He's going from pole position. We've seen the starts have been very important in terms of the outcome at the front of the race. Maxim, he'll know roughly where he needs to place the car. He's a driver that's raced at F4 level at this circuit this year. I mean, if you watch the pre-show, I think it was the first race of the weekend, he's a pretty chilled guy, pretty relaxed, so I think he'll be fairly confident. But it depends on how his starts went in race 1 and race 2. He was in the middle of the pack, so we didn't exactly see how the launch was. But if he can get away from the line well, and I think he knows he's got the pace. I think arguably of the front row, he's had the better pace. I think Enzo Tavanichko has been up and down the grid this weekend, but let's not count out Abby Pulling, John Marco Pradel. They're on the second row, and Reza Seaworthen as well. He's been quicker this weekend at points. So
I think you say a confident guy. Obviously Enzo Tavanichko, very confident guy, part of the Red Bull Young Driver program. I think with them on the front row, they know they've got 2 Rodins behind, and we know how good Rodin have been also this season. The team's championship, their driver, the third driver that isn't on the second row, has won the driver championship. So with Jean-Marco Pradel and Abby Pulling in third, I would say there's a pretty good chance of a double podium for Rodin.
Yes.
Not that I don't have faith in the front row.
No, but
I'm saying, knowing how quick they are around here, we've talked about it all weekend.
Yes, team's champions. They've been good. They've looked good in qualifying. They've been right up there in all the races. It's going to be hard for Maxim in his first weekend, as you mentioned, to hold him off. Enzo Tarvanishko, he's done a good job this weekend. The VRD, maybe they've not had as much running here as other teams like Rodin, like High Tech and other championships. VRD largely race out in America, joins the championship with Arden last
they're also VRD are flying out to America tomorrow morning,
literally
aren't they?
Tomorrow morning, yeah. So
a team, which sounds fun.
Yeah, Enzo's had a pretty up and down weekend. I think he's been involved. He DNF'd in one of the races as well. He'll be looking to end the season on the high as well. He's done a part season this year, so it was a part season, wasn't it? Or did he do all the rounds?
Enzo, he missed a couple of rounds.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he's done the second half of the season fully. We've much enjoyed having Enzo here, and I know a lot of his family are here. We've seen them in the hospitality, buzzing around him. So good luck to him on the front row. Let's go right to the back. Keanu Al-Azhari starting last after having a terrible qualifying. Now, we've seen this kid making some serious overtakes. I think on commentary there were some questions over maybe going down the straight and maybe moving a little bit too much, but the Italian stewards, they're cool with that. They're here to race. I feel like he's going to make up some serious places if he keeps up the pace and the adventure that he's shown in the last couple of races.
Yeah, we just heard from him, didn't we, in the interview a moment ago. He both took advantage of people falling by the wayside, advantage of other people's comings together, maybe that were physical or literal or figurative. But if he can do that again, we know that the reverse grid races always throw a spanner in the works. You've got the fastest drivers in the middle of the pack, drivers who were in the middle of the pack right at the front. Although the grid has actually been very, very close on times this weekend. I think in qualifying it was a second would have taken you well outside the top 10. So it's not going to be so much ebbing and flowing of pace, but with the toe here, the long straights, keeps the pack together. That gives drivers who have got confidence in the car, they can go well to the middle sector. They can then affect a move into the last corner, turn one, even the second chicane. And I'm looking forward to a good final race of the year. I think it's going to be a good one. I'm really hoping we can try and avoid the clumsiness a couple of times that we've seen on the first lap, because that's really been the only interruption to the good racing this weekend so far.
We've heard this national anthem a few times, haven't we?
Oh yes.
Anyway, so I hope you can hear that on the microphones. But yes, we are looking forward to seeing what can be done. We always like to talk about pre-race rituals, and today is no different. I know, Piers, we've kind of talked about your pre-race ritual back in the day. Now, all the cars have gone very quiet, which means they're all turned off, which means there might be a delay. But anyway, we're going to get into this. Abby Pulling, I was chatting with her trainer, Georgia. She has got a range of, because they work with personal trainers and nutritionists, she goes with the liquid preparation. She's got like a post-race and a pre-race drink. So she's got like a pre-race drink to get her hyped up, and she's got a post-race like creatine. I was looking at it, it looked like some kind of like washer fluid that you put in your car. It looked horrible, and I don't know Abby was enjoying it, but obviously it keeps you in peak condition. And that is the kind of level that we're at with these athletes now, because it's not just a case of I'll have a banana before I get in the car and it will give me some whatever. It's like proper nutrition, proper gym work, and that's on top of obviously sim work, learning every aspect of the car. And actually we see some drivers who take a really big technical interest in the car to know how things work technically.
Yeah, I think it's well worth noting that you mentioned, Abby has a proper regimented nutrition regime over the weekend. I mean, I never unfortunately got to the level where I was able to do stuff like that, but it's a real thing. I mean, I know you and I, John, we've just had a lovely pizza over lunch, and we're feeling a little bit.
Tell you what, €7 for a pizza.
It's sitting heavy in the stomach, though, right?
Yeah,
and this is what the drivers will be avoiding. They won't have gone for a pizza at lunch, because that's the thing that will sit heavy, and then you've not got the energy. And it's those minor differences that make a big difference in a grid this close. And if you can recover quickly, relax, switch off, and then have something that gets you hydrated, fueled, energized, and you feel ready, you feel up for the race, that's going to give you the best opportunity to, the difference between making a decisive move and making a decisive mistake.
Of course, and also Deegan Fairclough, just to really pull back the curtain, Deegan Fairclough we saw in the hospitality. He's been in the hospitality quite a lot, I have to say. Of all the drivers, I've seen Deegan at the coffee bar a significant amount this weekend. Must be a bit of a coffee fan, but he's, I think, smashing an espresso. He didn't have a double. I did suggest he should have a double, but he was like, no, I'll stick with the single.
Maybe you should stay out of their drivers' nutrition.
Oh, no, I mean, yeah, don't take any advice from me, but yeah, I mean, some drivers, you get a bit of caffeine in you, gets you to that place where you need to be. Cars are going to be released in about 30 seconds or so. Who's your odds-on favourite to win this last race of the season, Piers?
Do you know what? I'm happy to say, but I can't call winning this one.
Will it be a driver from the top 4? We've seen what's happened at turn 1.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes,
You
but
sure
I don't know
about
who.
that?
I genuinely don't know who. This is anyone's race. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Well, look, at Hill Speed on pole position, Maxime Rem, he's won at this track at F4 level. Alongside him, Enzo Tarvanishko, part of the Red Bull Junior family, so we know he's got it. On the row behind them, we have got two drivers from the team's champions in 2025, Road and Motorsport, in Abby Pulling. She's looking for her first win. She's been on the podium once this season. Can she end the season with a win? She's alongside her teammate Jean-Marc Pradel, who would also like to go out in style for the final time here at Monza and the final time in 2025 in the GB3 Championship. Let's go racing.
Ready to go for one last time in 2025. The GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, will once again take to the Temple of Speed. It is, of course, the Monza circuit for our 24th and final race of the year. Let's remind ourselves of that long run down into the opening chicane, the longest run of the entire season, heavy onto the brakes into the Rettifilo, which caused many problems back in race 2. Round Curva Grande and then into the Della Roggia, of course then through the Lesmos, right and then right again before we go down the Seraglio straight down towards Ascari, flicking it left, right and then left again before that final run into the Parabolica. DRS wide open into Ascari and into the opening chicane, 3.6 miles and very little in terms of elevation, just 12.8 metres. We are ready to go in what is going to be a very exciting final race of the season, I feel. We had a very exciting second race earlier on in the day to open out proceedings. Circuit temperature, though, slightly warmer than we had back then. It was only about 14 or 15 degrees Celsius on track temperature. It's about 22 degrees on track temperature at the moment. Now, that might assist with some of those lockups that we had down into the opening chicane earlier on in the day in a race that was excitingly won by Deegan Fairclough. You can see new tyres there on the right-hand side of Bianca Bustamante. Wonder if anyone else is rolling with some fresh tyres in this final race. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But of course, they are on the reconnaissance lap at the moment, having left the pit lane. They'll be taking to the starting grid before they begin the formation lap, and then we'll roll through the grid order and see who's likely to win. There is obviously a lot of talent at the front end of this field. This is the reverse grid race. The fastest 12 times from qualifying have been reversed on the grid, so that's what put Rem onto the reverse grid pole position. It does mean that Alex Ninovic will be in 12th. To remind you, on the standing side of things, we'll touch on that very briefly because there is a fight for second position in the Drivers' Championship. Patrick Huizenrode has 362 points. Deegan Fairclough has 349. Jean-Marc Pradel has 348. 14 points separates second through fourth in the championship, and those all-important super license points up for grabs. You need 40 to get to Formula 1. If you were a second in this championship, it's 7. If you're third, it's 5. And if you are fourth, it is just 3. Still 3 very important points, don't get me wrong. But with a few good points gathered, then maybe you might be able to squeeze those extra points out, and it can assist you in the future on the pathway into Formula 1. You'll see the 22 car grid then take to the circuit. Of course, we can see plenty of fans out. That is on the grandstand down into the first corner. Had plenty of fans down there all over the weekend. And they've had quite a show. They've had some great moves put on in front of them. They've had some big overtakes, a couple of incidents as well. See what we'll get in this last race of the season. I get the feeling this might get a bit full send, and I am all here for it. All the drivers desperate to win that final race of the season, end the season on a high. We've got plenty of drivers, 12 in fact, that have been victorious this season over the 23 races that we've had. Of course, for Alex Ninovic, his tally is at 9 victories. there's possibility that he could take a 10th from 12th on the grid, but certainly not guaranteed. It's going to be an exciting one. Of those drivers, by the way, that are on the they're up there that haven't won a race, if you're looking for who might become the 13th different winner of the season, well, all the drivers that will be starting on the right-hand side of your screen for the first couple of rows, they haven't been victorious. All the drivers on the left, though, have. Nice and easy one to work out. Maxime Rem, obviously not victorious. He's joined us for this round. Abi Pulling, Kabir Anurag, those on the first 3 rows have not won a race in this championship. Those are all the front 3 on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, you've got Enzo Tarvinichkul, you've got Jan-Marco Bredel, and you've got Reza Seaworthen. Those 3 have won a race in the GB3 Championship. Speaking of race winners in the GB3 Championship, of course, we've got Piers Pryor, who joins us up here in the commentary booth. Hello, welcome.
I must say the segues from you and John in this final show of the year have been wonderful, Lewis. But yeah, made my way up here. Negotiated some stairs and a locked door, so thank you very much to Director Tom. Let's have a look at the grid for the final time this year.
Indeed, going to be an exciting one. Maxime Rem on debut will be starting from that reverse grid pole. He's had fantastic speed, hasn't he, all weekend, whether it's been in practice, whether it's been in qualifying. It's been the 2 races that we have had. There he is on the left-hand side, starting from pole position. Enzo Tarvinichkul, a race winner at Brands Hatch this season. He'll be starting alongside. Abi Pulling yet to take victory. Jan-Marco Bredel alongside has got a couple of victories to his name. Kabir Anurag from 5th position will start alongside Reza Seaworthen, who will start from 6th in the Argenti with Prema. Lucas Flusha, our most recent new winner. Actually, well, Deegan Fairclought's taken that one away. Of course, won the reverse grid race last time out. He'll start from 7th position with Newman Cheek. He'll be starting from 8th position in the hill speed. Then it's Deegan Fairclough, now our newest and 12th different winner of the season. Starts from 9th. Patrick Huizenrode from 10th position. And then, of course, it's Noah Lyle and Alex Ninovich, the 2025 GB3 champion, starting from 12th in the number 12. Isaac Phelps will start from 13th position with Patricio Gonzalez in 14th place for VRD Racing. Then it's Jack Sherwood from 15th and August Raver starting from 16th position, having, I believe, dropped back a couple of positions after an incident and a couple of penalties. Kai Darianani will start from 17th. Rodrigo Gonzalez from 18th position for VRD Racing. 2 final rows left to go through. Flynn Jacks, Bart Harrison for JHR Development from 20th position. The final row of the grid sees Bianca Bustamante and Keanu Alazari. You were a bit hesitant to really pick who's going to win this race because it is wide open. Do you think we are going to have another brand new winner? Let's go with that one.
Lewis, I'm normally so decisive, but today, this race, it literally is wide open because I can see all things. The hill speeds have been really quick. Max Rem from pole position, if he gets a good start, you know he can win around here. He's done in other categories. Enzo Tarvinichkul, reverse grid race winner. He could get the job done. Abi Pulling, we know she's had podiums, been quick. It would be great to see her finish on top step on the last time this year. Jan-Marco Bredel, her teammate. Both of those drivers, they're team's champions, aren't they? Along with, so they're going to be quick in this one. Kabir Anurag, he's been quick. Reza Seaworthen, he's always been moving up the field this weekend. Lucas Flusha, it's wide open. I would say I think we're going to get a new winner in this one, but I'm not going to put my finger on who it is.
If we do get a brand new winner, that means that we'll tie the record for most amount of winners, different winners in a single season. 2022, 13 different winners. Of course, we currently have 12. One more would put us to 13. But there's loads to choose from out there, and I've got to say, I think Maxime Rem's got the pace. I genuinely think he does in this opening race, but I do think there's going to be a lot of aggression down to the first corner.
Yeah, and also looking just out of the commentary box, we're right in line with pole position. Maxime is pretty much as far forward in the box as you're legally allowed to be, so he's gunning for the front. That says to me that he's confident in the car. That says to me he's like, I'm going to lead this one from the front, but it's not going to be easy. We know Tarvinichkul does not hold punches, and those Rodins on the second row, they are going to be fast. For the final time this year, I am excited and waiting for what will be hopefully another good race. Hopefully we can get through the first lap cleanly.
Last race of 2025, round 24 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, is go. Poor start from our reverse grid pole sitter. Enzo Tarvinichkul's going to be able to come straight through to the race lead. Abi Pulling with a great start from the second row of the grid. I think the second phase of that start from Rem has been pretty decent. He's on the right-hand side of your screen. He locks up a little bit into the opening corner. He's going to skip over the inside of the chicane along with Abi Pulling, and Enzo Tarvinichkul might have a clear run for the race lead.
Oh, it looks like Rem's still in the lead at the moment. I don't know whether he'll be able to keep that. He's dropped back probably quite wise at this stage not to get a penalty. As we go side by side in the background, that is Isaac Phelps, who's made it through cleanly this time. He's alongside one of the XL cars. I think that's Jack Sherwood. It is.
Here we go. We've got Tarvanichko then down the inside as they battle into the second of those chicanes of the Rogier. That was Rem going around the outside. Abby Pulling also dropped back behind her teammate as well, getting squeezed off into the grass. Rem sticks it to the outside of the first Lesmo. Tarvanichko in the Red Bull sponsored car now sits in second position, and it's Gianmarco Pradel looking down the inside for Roden, that yellow highlighted black and white car. Straight to second place he goes.
Wow, what a move around the outside of the Rogier from our debutant. Rem retakes the lead around Enzo Tarvanichko and then just about holds on the outside of the first Lesmo, and that halted Enzo Tarvanichko's run. Now he is having to defend from the number 7 of our winner in race 2, Fairclough. It looks like we've actually so far, I was about to say I've got through cleanly, but that's one of the XLs running through the gravel. That is Sherwood, who's been alongside, side by side once already this race. Now it is on the attack, goes the 7 of Fairclough. He's alongside Tarvanichko.
This might have opened the floodgates for Deegan Fairclough, up into third position already from the race start. Could he be eyeing up his second victory in GB3 back-to-back? That would be incredible, but he's being dragged through the field. He's got Enzo Tarvanichko behind him. Reza Seaworthy's also had a cracking race start. Could he be challenging for a podium or a victory? Here comes Fairclough.
Fairclough from 7th on the grid, all the way up to 9th on the grid. My mistake, he's number 7. Yeah, 9th on the grid into second place in 1 lap. What a first lap that was from him. Seaworthy, as you mentioned, had a good start with 3 abreast through turn 1. Right, wisely done from Tarvanichko there. He saw the drivers going side by side and his inside cut through the chicane. That's exactly what the runoff is for, to avoid incidents, and now Seaworthy's under attack.
Yeah, did see quite close between Anurag, between Ninovic and between Patrick Huizenrode. The fight for second in the championship. Remember, the lead of that fight is Patrick Huizenrode, who's made no progress on the opening lap. Meanwhile, his rivals have done so. Fairclough, the driver who sits third in the championship, now moves up into second in the race. Could that be enough for him to take over second in the championship? Off the road in the background, someone struggling through the Rogier.
Who is that? I can't quite see who that was going through there. That's the 12. That's our championship winner. That was Ninovic getting shuffled onto the gravel. So even though he's won the championship or won a race this weekend, still fighting hard through the field. Now up behind the second of the Argenti with Prema cars. That'll be August Raber who's making positions on the first lap. There you can see just briefly on the left-hand side of shot the movers and shakers there. Definitely Fairclough, the biggest gainer in the top half of the field.
And at the moment, he would be taking over second in the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, by a whopping 3 points only over Patrick Huizenrode. This is getting very tight between that top lot. Just 9 points separate second through fourth in the championship as things stand in this race.
A reminder that 3 points, it really isn't a big gap, because that is 373 place 370 for second in the championship if things were to finish as they are now, but that certainly won't be the order on the left-hand side at the end of the race.
Certainly not. Let's see if Deegan Fairclough can maybe sneak his way through into the race lead. You've got a couple of looks coming in the background. That's Anurag trying to get past Tarvanichko. Directly behind him is the driver who's looking to try and take second in the championship. There comes a look to the inside for the race lead, and Deegan Fairclough is going to take over the race lead again in that rocket-sponsored high-tech TGR car. Is he going to be able to take back-to-back victories in this championship?
Oh no, that was Pat Huizenrode, I think, going backwards once again, getting a poor exit out of the first chicane. I don't know what happened there. It looks like he just either pulled second gear by accident, maybe hit the pit limiter or something, but just had absolutely no drive when he was on the inside. We'll have to keep an eye on him. He's now on the inside. No, that's not the XL car of Huizenrode. Yeah, that's Anurag still higher up in the field. But what a drive so far from Deegan Fairclough. Is on the grass now. That's Huizenrode again.
No,
that is Anurag.
Anurag once more trying to look down the inside, failing to do so, and she's been able to come through. Now Tarvanichko is going to be able to keep them at bay. Let's see the side-by-side. Ninovic goes around the outside of Jack Sherwood and goes deep into the gravel. Oh my goodness, they were able to keep it on the road. Jack Sherwood, the XL car with the yellow highlights, is able to sneak his way through without clattering in to our GB3 champion.
How did Ninovic hold on to that? He was at pretty much 45 degrees, rear tyres in the gravel. Somehow didn't drop it, and also didn't get collected by anyone else either. So good evasive action from everyone behind, but that's going to put a bit of a split in the pack there around that sort of 10th, 11th, 12th place area at the moment. Back to the front of the field, Deegan Fairclough pushing on. You can see him fighting with the wheel. Let's have a look at that again. This is the front angle. Let's look at the back of the field. Yeah, just in the literally 45 degrees there, and that hurt his exit. But he'll be glad that he's able to continue on.
Unbelievable there from Ninovic. Great car control. 10 laps left to go then. Fairclough, Rem, Pradell, those are the top three at the moment with a bit of a gap back to Flusha. Here comes Abby Pulling, looking to the outside. Reza Seaworthen's waiting in the background as well. There's a couple of squeezes. I think Chi and Anurag are going into battle behind. Abby Pulling tries to make the move. There comes the cutback coming in from Seaworthen. And there's also battling behind all that does see Patrick Huizenroda involved.
Yeah, big lock up in the back. I think that was Patricia Gonzalez for alongside Flynn Jacks. A big lock up for him. But we'll come back to this group. Defensive, just a little jink to deter Rem from going for the lead. Rem's looking very comfortable in the top three here for a debutant in this championship. He's already done an excellent move around the outside of the Rogier. Unfortunately, can't live with Fairclough's pace at the moment, but he's still right there. Maybe potentially different setups, different tyre choices. Some of these drivers will be on slightly less used tyres than others. A lot of teams will save a good set for the reverse grid race if they know they're going to be someone near the front. As Tava Nishkul, he's backwards again. He's going to be under pressure from one of the XLs, dropping two wheels on the gravel on the exit at Lesmo 2 is probably the worst place you can do that on the lap.
Certainly so. Well, with Deegan Fairclough at the moment in the lead of the races, there comes a look to the inside. Patrick Huizenroda does get his way past Enzo Tava-Nitschkel, so another position made up, a couple of positions made up on that lap that will be very important. I'll do the maths in just a second. But there's only two drivers on this grid at present that have more than one victory this season. Of course, 9 of those go to our champion in Alex Ninovic. 2 of them for Jean-Marc Pradell. Everyone else has only a single victory. Deegan Fairclough could take his first victory and then his second one back-to-back.
Yeah, Fairclough looked quick at Silverstone at the start of the year, then unfortunately just got hampered, and then he's been in and around the top 5, top 10, not quite been able to break through. But I don't know what's happened this week, second half of this weekend. Whatever he had for dinner last night and breakfast this morning, he needs to do more often. Although saying that, spoken too soon, commentators curse, lock up through the chicane. Will he come out still in the lead? Let's keep an eye on that. Fairclough alongside. Yeah, so Rem back in the lead. Rem's just keeping the pressure on. That's good driving from Rem. He's not doing anything. I don't know. It doesn't look like he's overdriving, does it, Lewis? It looks like he's very much in control at the moment, happy to just soak up the race, see how it plays out. He doesn't need to win. He's not in the championship. He's not going to score, realistic points in this race. He's not in it for a championship, and he's just here to get experience. Whoa. And another level of side by side through the Rogier. That was Tava Nishkul and Anurag once again, and now defensive goes Tava Nishkul ahead of Sherwood, and more drivers cutting through the Rogier in the background.
Yeah, indeed. I think it was August Raber in the Argenti with Kramer that might have been in doing that. Just a touch on second of the championship there. It's just got a little bit closer. Deegan Fairclough at the moment would be second of the title by 1 point over Patrick Huizenroda. This is going to chop and change a lot through this race over the final 8 laps. When they've got to the line, they work their way through a sky with Rem back in the lead, looking to try and become the 13th different winner of 2025.
Yeah, it's been a great race so far, pretty clean throughout. We've had lots of side-by-side action, very close racing, but so far, so good. Hopefully it stays that way for the remainder of the race. Now defensive goes the Argenti with Preva. That's Seaworthen defending from Chi. Chi looks like he's got a good run. Potentially he's going to look for the cutback. He's in prime position to use the DRS, and he's going to be followed by Huizenroda as well. And if Huizenroda can gain one more position, that will put him in a good place for second in the championship, as now Fairclough under pressure from Pradell.
Yeah, let's see if Pradell can get through. He'll look to the inside coming into the opening chicane. There comes a look low from Deegan Fairclough, trying to send one down on our race leader Maxime Rem, but cannot do it. So the top 3 remain in the same order as Rem from Fairclough from Pradell. There comes a look, and there is the position switch for Patrick Huizenroda getting past Chi. That position switch at present would be enough to put him into second in the championship.
Only just though. The Chis are fighting back. He's going to the inside of the Curva Grande, which will put him on the outside going into the Rogier. We've seen drivers do that before in many categories, and this race with our leader Maxime Rem doing it earlier on in the race on Tava Nishkul. Looking in the back of shot there was jostling for position. I think that was Huizenroda, but Rem Once again, he's very good at getting a good exit out of these corners, and that's ultimately all he really needs to do.
They have switched around. I think Newman Chi is now ahead of Patrick Huizenrode. So there has been a switch once again for 7th position. Watch them in the background. It is the Hill Speed ahead of the XL. So it is indeed that way around. So Huizenrode is back into 8th position. They cross the second sector split. Look at how much Rem's car's moving a little bit in the braking zone.
Fairclough put 2 wheels on the gravel going through Ascari. That's going to put him under big pressure from Prado behind. Potentially, if Fairclough goes defensive into Parabolica, that might lose them the DRS to Rem ahead, and that will give Rem a little bit of a respite. He's in the background once again. I think Huizenrode has got packed past Chi in the DRS zone down to Ascari, and Prado does get through on Fairclough now. So we've seen a lot of chopping and changing in the front few drivers. Prado now will be putting the chase on. He's got his sights locked on Rem ahead, although he's not all going to be easy from now as Prado tries to hold the slipstream from Rem. Rem then swaps to the other side to give Pradel the tow. This is really good tactical driving. I'm really impressed with Rem in this race so far. Again, I don't want to jinx it because he just has a small look up into turn number 1. Do you know what, Lewis? I'm just going to stop saying that drivers are doing well, because every time I do, something goes awry.
There's no such thing as the commentator's curse. Don't even get me started. Rem's car is moving a lot in the braking zone. I think that's kind of what is loosening up those front wheels. And I do wonder if that might be causing a little bit of problem later in that race as well. That lockup's going to be easier to find again and again and again. At the moment, as things stand in this race, it would be Deegan Fairclough second in the championship, but this keeps changing as there is Patrick Huizenrode trying to keep Newman Chi at bay, and does indeed do so this time as they work their way through the Roger. It's the white, purple and pink XL car there of Patrick Huizenrode, the red, white and black of Newman Chi, who now has to focus on Noah Lyle knocking on the door in the grey JHR Developments car.
That's an important move from Pat Huizenrode, and a decisive one as well. It's the way he did it has allowed a bit of a gap as well, as Newman Chi now over a second off the back of Pat Huizenrode. He won't have the benefit of DRS and will be falling into the clutches of the pack behind, as you can see them fan out in the back. Does that give Huizenrode a second place in the championship again? I think it just about does.
At the moment, I think it would still be Fairclough. Let me do the maths.
I'll let you do that, Lewis, while I keep an eye on this battle at the front. Rem once again having to weave left and right. He thought he had a gap, but now Fairclough's put in an excellent middle sector. Not the fastest in the race, but a good couple of tenths quicker than Rem at the front of the field to close that gap up again. The gap will only be 4 tenths or so at the line, but don't forget, Rem will not have DRS. Both of the drivers, Fairclough and Prado behind, will have DRS, which will close them up considerably down towards turn number 1. And Rem going defensive, you can see, cutting left, cutting right, just trying to cut off any slipstream he can.
Apologies, right you were. Patrick Huizenrode would have 374 points, playing 373 for Deegan Fairclough. Jean-Marco Bradel 364. Would be 3 races and 3 podiums from Jean-Marco Bradel. An excellent run. There is Newman Chi skipping over the inside as they run through the Rettifilo. All that battling behind has allowed Patrick Huizenrode to get completely away from that. So he is definitely in 7th spot, which now means that Deegan Fairclough must win this race if he wants second in the title.
Assuming that Huizenrode stays where he is, although Huizenrode has got his own little gap there, as you pointed out, Lewis, so he'll feel pretty comfortable now. He'll be doing his absolute best to close up to the group ahead. That'll be Seaworthen in 6th place, as Huizenrode is down in 7th at the moment. Good middle sector once again from Rem. He's really strong, so that says to me potentially he's saved a set of tyres for this reverse grid race to give himself the best opportunity of a race win. The corners in the middle sector are the most technical, where you rely on the mechanical grip the most through the Roger chicane and then through both the Lesmos. But every time we go through Ascari and then head through the DRS zones, it closes that once again as Fairclough uses all the road right up to the edge of the gravel. Prado's still there as well, looking menacing.
Yeah, indeed. And look who's closing in. The more and tighter this gets, Abby Pulling is closing up to this group as well, dragging along Flushep, dragging along Seaworthen, and potentially even giving a little bit of slipstream over the Patrick Huizenrode, who's only 1.5 seconds off.
Lewis, I'm just going to point something out here that I think was gone slightly under the radar. Alex Ninovic had a terrible start to the race, went down to 18th position. He's back up to 9th. Back up inside the top 10. Light work for our champion, so we'll keep half an eye on that as he's on the back of Lyle now, so right behind that battle with Newman Chi. But there he is, just coming into shot. Again, we'll keep half an eye on that because he's a big mover, as is Alazari. Also, I think few other drivers making moves in this one, but he's the one that's been up and down the most.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Alex Ninovich doesn't win this race, he's going to have a dreadful win percentage. It would only be about 36%. There goes Jack Sherwood sending off the bright pink car of Keanu Al-Azhari. They were both deep into the braking zone of the Rettifilo with 5 laps left to go.
That'll be one for the race directors to have a look at. Again, I don't want to make a decision about that because Al-Azhari did leave the circuit, kept the position, but did he jump or was he pushed? As we now see side by side. This is our champion going side by side with Noah Lyle. Side by side. Can he get a good exit? Lyle doing a good job of squeezing Ninovich right to the edge of the road, giving him 1 car's width but no more, so he wasn't able to effect a cutback. And this is a battle. Tarvanitschkel still getting involved with the 2 XL Motorsport drivers there of Sherwood and Anurag.
Yeah, Sherwood's the first of those with the light yellow-green daily yellow highlights. Then, of course, behind that, the bright pink highlights. That one is Kabir Anurag. There, though, is your race leader, the red, black and white hill speed car of Max Rem at the moment on his debut weekend in the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. It's Fairclough behind, it's then Pradell, it's then Pulling, who is within a second of that group ahead, will start getting DRS. Then it's Flusha and Seaworthen and Patrick Huizenroder, who is in this train now and could potentially gain that little bit more with just 4 final laps of the season to go.
Pat Huizenroder, fastest middle sector of the race, closed in by 0.6 of a second on Seaworthen on this lap alone. He's very much got the pace at this stage. I spoke to him after qualifying and he said in Q2 he definitely had the pace for pole. Unfortunately just got caught out, bit of dirty air, so we know he's been quick this weekend. The XLs have been very strong as Maxim Rem using all the road, kicking up some dust on the outside. He's confident with that hill speeder car underneath him, but he's doing all he needs to at the moment. But with the likes of Fairclough, Pradell, Pulling, Flusha, Seaworthen and Huizenroder behind, he's going to have his work cut out with the 4 remaining laps.
Yeah, 7 cars involved in the battle for the race lead, all of them separated by 3.4 seconds over this historic circuit at the Temple of Speed here at Monza. It is ticking down when it comes to opportunities, though, and Patrick Huizenroder, if he's able to get through here on Reza Seaworthen, that will just help his confidence a little bit when it comes into these final laps of the race.
And strengthen his position for second in the championship as well. And let's not forget, they're not just fighting for second, they're fighting for two super license points for Formula 1 as well. Alex Ninovich already getting 10 under his belt as the season finishes. It's 7 super license points for second in the championship, 5 for third, 3 for fourth and 1 for 5th place. So these are genuine things, or genuine points and steps towards Formula 1 on the line here.
Yeah, certainly so. Seaworthen a little bit off the rear end of Flusha. Could be a sitting duck once more for Patrick Huizenroder. Rem, with a 7/10 lead at the moment, is keeping a comfortable watchful eye over Deegan Fairclough.
Lewis, you know what's really exciting for me? The slowest driver in the top 7 places on that last lap was our leader. So this gap of 7 is coming closer and closer together with 3 laps remaining. Hopefully we have a grandstand finish to GB3 in 2025. It's been an excellent race, probably one of the best this season so far. Hopefully it ends as well as it started.
The train moving all over the circuit as everyone's trying to stay in the slipstream of our race leader. There goes Patrick Huizenroder with a look down the inside. Big slide as well from our race leader, Maxime Rem. There off the road, I think might go Reza Seaworthen, and Patrick Huizenroder would be able to work his way through if he can maybe sneak past. Let's see what it's like on the run into Curva Grande. He definitely skipped over the inside.
The issue with it is you make a move like that and then don't get it successfully done first time. You can see that both of those drivers, Seaworthen and Huizenroder, have dropped off the back of the top 5. They're costing each other valuable time, and if this 5 start fighting, they're going to have to close that gap to make any ground. But Huizenroder does go through in the end. I don't know whether Reza let him through or whether it was a move into the Rogier. But looking back at this 5 now, it's pretty much 2/10 between them. Flusha now looking like the one. He might be the most likely to make a move right underneath the rear wing of Abby Pulling. His DRS is going to be open. This is the second of the 2 DRS zones down towards the Ascari chicane.
Certainly so. Just a reminder, if you are just joining us here at this point in the race, for one, where have you been all race? There's not very long left to go in the season, as we'll have just 2 laps left to go at the line. We are looking at a fight for second in the championship, which has Patrick Huizenroder at the moment ahead of Deegan Fairclough by a single point. 374 for Huizenroder in his current spot. Deegan Fairclough 373. Jean-Marco Pradell 364. Here comes a look though. He was almost going for it there. Was Deegan Fairclough. Meanwhile, Abby Pulling goes on the defence as they work their way through the final corner at the Parabolica to end the anti-position anti-penultimate lap.
Nice, Lewis. Yeah, as we the anti-penultimate lap. So it is now 2 laps to go. Hoytsenroder making advantage of the unsuccessful attack from Flusha, although Flusha, staying in the slipstream of Addy Pudding's been able to pull back ahead. As you can see, the DRS flaps open, jostling for position down towards turn 1. Rem just about being able to hold that position, the lead of the race, without having to go defensive. Not able to get through this time was Hoytsenroder, as Seaworthy's now looking to gain as well. Now Hoytsenroder right underneath the rear wing, looks left, looks right. You can see Flusha looking in the mirrors. Flusha in the red Hillspeed car, Hoytsenroder in the white XL Motorsports car. They're going to be side by side going into the second chicane.
Let's see how risky Patrick Hoytsenroder feels he needs to be about it. Big lock up though, and he's going to lose out here potentially even to Reza Seaworthy. He's going to skip straight over the inside there as they work their way through the Roger. He's going to leave it ahead of Reza Seaworthy, but was unable to get past Flusha. At present though, he is still in second in a championship.
This is the racer's paradox now for Hoytsenroder. He's okay where he is, and if he holds position, he's good for second. However, if you don't try and make moves forward, you're likely to go backwards.
The thing is, he can actually drop behind Seaworthy and he would still be in position for the title, for second rather, sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves there. The only problem is, speaking of the title, Alex Ninovic is closing in on this fight, by the way. That black and white car in the background is almost knocking at the door of Reza Seaworthy with just a single lap left to go.
He set the fastest lap of the race on that last lap, did our champion of Ninovic, a 43.8. That would have put him 8th on the grid in qualifying, Lewis. That's pretty quick on a fairly used set of tyres.
Certainly so, and he is going to start knocking at that door. Patrick Hoytsenroder once again trying to find his way past Lucas Flusha and into the top 5 of the race, into the second position of the championship, into those 7 super licence points. But with one final lap left to go here in the GB3 Championship of 2025, it's Maxime Rem trying to look for his first victory. It's Deegan Fairclough trying to look for second in the championship. He's trying to keep Gianmarco Pradell at bay. He will just about do so here. There's some battling in the background as well.
Oh, that was defensive from Hoytsenroder, just trying to cut across the nose of Flusha. Did he have an overlap? Did he not? It looks like he'd managed to get ahead before the braking zone, just about. Yes, he did, and comes out at the first chicane, one position ahead of Flusha, and now Seaworthy's looking to go around the outside of the Curva Grande. That will put him on the inside of the Rogia. At the front of the field, Rem just about holding on, able to hold the lead of the race ahead of Fairclough, fighting the background. Flusha having to give up that position to Seaworthy.
Yeah, at the moment it would be a 5-point lead for second in the championship for Patrick Hoytsenroder. He is doing what he needs to do. He is in position. He's gained 5 spots in this race. He's in the position he needs to be in. No further risk, surely, from Hoytsenroder.
Yeah. Front of the field, this is the biggest gap that Rem's had for quite a long time, so he's clearly saved his tyres well in this stage of the race. Ninovic is going to look to try and gain one more position. It would be interesting to see Ninovic's race progression, because he's gone up, down, left, right, all over the place. We've got a battle for second, just about holding on to that into Ascara, as you can see Fairclough fighting at the wheel, but there's going to be one more opportunity for Gianmarco Pradell to get past the high-tech TGR car, the number 7 there in second place, weaving left, weaving right. Defends to the inside, does Fairclough. Will Pradell go for a last lap live?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We head then down into that final corner of the Parabolica. There's nothing there for him through the final corner. 13 laps down, and we're going to have a 13th different winner of 2025. Maxime Rem will cross the line to win here in the final race of the season. It's Fairclough, it's Pradell, it's Pulling and Hoytsenroder to come across the line to take second in the championship.
And you can see what it meant to Hoytsenroder there, fist pumping in the cars. We've still got further battling down the order. I think that's the 88 fighting side by side. Guy Darianani with Patricio Gonzalez, August Rabbit, Isaac Phelps, Bart Harrison, they're all fighting hard there. So that was Lewis. I'm out of breath. What a race. What a way to finish the 2025 GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. We had battles up and down the order. We had our champion sideways nearly out of the race and then getting back inside the top 10. We had a new driver somehow defending the lead of the race ahead of race winners before. And Maxime Rem, I mean, what an introduction to the championship he did. Yes, he was gifted pole position with the partially reverse grid, but he had plenty of work to do. He dropped down into second, third place, regained the lead, and was able to hold on to win in the end.
Certainly so. Here are your provisional race results then from the final race of the season. Our 13th different winner of 2025 in Maxime Rem, Deegan Fairclough in second and Gianmarco Pradel in third. Abby Pulling will be in fourth position with Patrick Huizenrode in fifth. Reza Seaworthen in sixth position with Alex Ninovich rising his way back up the order into seventh, which is absolutely incredible. Lucas Flusha down in eighth. Noah Lyle and Newman Chi round out the top 10 with Keanu Alazari, then Sherwood, Anurag, Darianani and Patricio Gonzalez. Behind that, it's August Draper, Isaac Phelps in 17th position with Bart Harrison across the line, Enzo Tarvanitschul, Flynn Jacks, Rodrigo Gonzalez and Bianca Bustamante, meaning that every single one of our drivers was able to greet the final checkered flag of the season. Superb performance then from Maxime Rem. You can see him there driving down the back stretch, and of course he'll be joined on the podium by the driver directly behind him in Deegan Fairclough, and also of course Gianmarco Pradel driving onto the grass. I think it's just to get a little bit of extra pickup on the tyre, so that we're definitely meeting the weight requirement of the car. They will, but you know, always helps to get whatever you can around just to make sure every gram matters as they'll work their way into pit lane and of course into the into the eyes of course, one Mr. Jon Jackson. He'll be catching up with our top three once again. And for Maxime Rem, what an excellent opening weekend for him in GB3. A superb performance on day number one, sixth place from him. Unfortunately, retired from the race earlier on in this morning. And of course, a winner here. Deegan Fairclough, superb performance as well. Back-to-back podiums, was challenging for a race victory. I think that race victory, if he were to have taken it, it would have been enough for him to have finished second in the standings. But, of course, unfortunately, that is not the position he finished in. Just going to double-check that. Actually, it wouldn't have been. He would have missed out by a single point anyway, with Patrick Huizenrode working his way up into fifth position. There's Rem out of the car, and, of course, a fairly sizable celebration. I actually think that of all of the people, though, in this paddock, the one that would be celebrating the most would be Patrick Huizenrode after a superb drive up the order into fifth position. It was enough for him to take second in the championship. And of course, Gianmarco Pradel, I think he might be a little bit disappointed with how things have gone. Still 3 races and 3 podiums, which is a great result from him. But he'll sit 14 points off of second in the championship, just not quite able to eclipse the margin that Patrick Huizenrode has picked up throughout the season. Of course, 2 podiums this weekend from Deegan Fairclough, 2 from Alex Ninovich, and of course those 3 from Gianmarco Pradel. Joined on the podium again. Maxime Rem is the only other driver that's not one of those that I've just named to jump onto the podium. Big shake of the hand, of course, coming in from our 2025 champion. Alex Ninovich works his way down this end as well. I think he's almost certainly picked up the Sunoco fastest lap of the weekend award. Yet again, he's obviously got his Drivers' Championship trophy, picked that up after race 2, I believe. They've had the Team's Championship trophy. He's had another Omologato One to Watch award and another race victory trophy, and he has the most victories of any driver in the GB3 era, which is a pretty impressive run from a driver who started out the season with 0 podiums in the opening 4 races. I don't think at that point we were looking at him as being one to massively watch to come through the grid in the way that he's done. Either way, we're going to focus our attention back on the top 3, where Jon Jackson will be catching up with them.
Yeah, thank you very much. Maxime Rem has won here before, and he's won here again. Let's just grab him. We go up there. Maxime, c'est good. Congratulations. You've won here before. You've now won here at F3 level. How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel amazing. Starting off the week, I didn't thought this would be possible. I mean, obviously, I really didn't go into this weekend with any expectations. But I mean, we've shown that we're fast enough in the free practices. We've shown that we're fast enough in the qualies, and I think that's just proven that we're plenty fast enough to win around here again in F3, and especially with the slipstream in this car. Without the DRS in P1, it's very difficult to stay in the lead. You've seen me and Deegan scrapping a little bit. I think if he's in your slipstream as DRS, it's impossible to defend, really. I tried to break the slipstream in the race. I think it sort of worked, and I'm happy with the result, yeah.
Yeah, we enjoyed that battle. Did you save tyres knowing you were on pole position for this race?
To be honest, the tyre deck here is very minimal, so there's not really any tyre saving. It's just full send, I think, every lap.
Well, look, we've enjoyed watching you here. How was your first experience of GB3 been?
It's very nice. I really love the car. It's just amazing, and you'll probably see me here next year as well.
Well, look, fingers crossed. You've already won one race this year, so hopefully we'll watch you do the full season next year, maybe.
Yeah, if I do it, let's see what we can do in the championship. Obviously, it's still a long way to go, but I'll give my best.
Excellent. Well, we'll let you go and stand on that iconic podium once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There we go. Maxime Rem with Hillspeed. Hillspeed doing incredible things this year. Deegan Fairclough having a very nice weekend. A win in that race before. Second place, another podium for you. How was it out there? We enjoyed that battle with Maxime.
Yeah, it was good. Mistake on my part when I was in the lead trying to defend on Maxime. I had to go through the escape route, so not ideal. And struggled with the front left. Old tyres, they've been on for the whole weekend, so it was difficult, but to start P9 and finish second, I can't complain. Obviously, it was close, but yeah, so far.
I was going to say, knowing what you needed to achieve over Pat to clinch second, were the team talking to you about that during the race?
Oh, I didn't even know I clinched second.
No, unfortunately, I don't want to break it to you. Unfortunately, he just clinched it, but obviously he had a good chance if he finished a bit further back, but he made up a couple of places towards the end there. But the team weren't keeping you across that at all.
No, it was, they didn't. And to be fair, it is what it is. This year's been a bit of a roller coaster, and I've learned a lot from it. And the team have supported me massively all year, so it's a big thanks to them. We've ended on a good finisher this year.
Super positive end to the season. Congratulations, another trophy for you.
Thank you very much.
There we go. I think I might have ruined his day there a little bit. Right, we're going to speak to Jean-Marc Pradel. We'll get on to the saging in just a minute, but enjoyed that battle. It was good to have a race without a safety car.
Yeah, finally. I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, overall the weekend was relatively okay. Bringing home three podiums, so that was all right. I mean, it was a shame to drop in the championship, and then I mean, it's just been difficult race 2 and 3 relative to others around us, but yeah, I mean, decent race, enjoyed it a lot, just couldn't make the pass unfortunately. Yeah, 2 drivers seem to be working together ahead, so yeah, did what I could.
What can you do? Are we going to see you back in GB3 next year? I know it may not be decided yet. Is there hope that you can be back, or have you got your eyes somewhere else?
Let's see what happens. I mean, yeah, not sure what we're doing at the moment, but you'll find out soon enough.
Bit of unfinished business. And finally, we've been hearing and seeing lots of people in the chat saying that you're a super nice guy, because before the show we talked about your gifts that you've given out to your teammates. Just tell us the story behind that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a little memento, which Dad got done at work, and so yeah, just he brought him over from Australia. Just a little memento so that the team always has something for me. So yeah, just little wooden blocks, a few laser etchings in there, so just something special. Well, I hope it resonates with them. So yeah.
Abby showed me earlier. She's very pleased to receive that, and it's been a great season for the team. So we'll let you go and celebrate with them.
Thanks very much.
There we go, Jean-Marc Pradel, another driver that we've enjoyed hearing from this year. I think we'll chat to Alex Nenovich on the podium in just a second. So let's let these drivers for this last race of the weekend go and get their trophies. Right now, Lewis will talk you through it.
Certainly so. We'll come to that in a few moments' time. But again, we've had a brilliant weekend of racing here in the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. I mean, what a fantastic venue to come to for our season finale here at Circuit Monza. I mean, it's been brilliant. It's been very entertaining, and it does mean that we've had things tighten up in that battle for second of the championship. Yes, indeed. Heartbreaker Jon Jackson there for poor Deegan Fairclough. Did have to break the news. Not quite second of the championship. Patrick Huizenrode has that one by 5 points. A lot of surprising drives. Again, that superb victory for Maxime Ren. The last time that a driver did the one of the later rounds of a season and won a race before returning for the following season, the last time that happened was Luke Browning. He did the penultimate race of penultimate round of the season in 2021, which was at Alton Park. He was victorious in the second race there, returned for 2022, and then went on to go and be the champion of the series. Can Maxime Ren do the same thing again? I mean, again, to speak of Rem's pace, it was superb through practice and qualifying and all the races. And again, to end the round with a victory, again, just shows the fantastic performance that was pieced together, and now gets to waltz on to, and I said it yesterday, and I'm going to say it again, the most iconic podium in motorsport. I know there's some circuits that people will hold higher, whether it is Spa or Nordschleife or obviously at Bathurst, places like that, Indy 500, Monaco, there's a lot of places. There is nowhere else, though, that I can think of where the podium is looking over the track in the way that it does here at Monza, and you have those moments of imagination where you recall watching the Grand Prix on television and seeing the thousands and thousands of people that line the track, the Tifosi that come on to support Ferrari. Very much, that's all the imagination that goes on when you take to this fantastic podium. That's the podium that they'll all be walking onto. Hopefully it won't be blocked by a photographer by the time the drivers actually walk their way out onto it, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. Of course, we'll welcome our drivers onto the podium in just a moment's time. In reverse order, of course, third position will come out first. It's another fantastic podium from Gianmarco Pradal, who is, again, as one of very few drivers to have taken multiple victories this season. There's only 3 drivers that have done it. I completely forgot, unfortunately, during the race about Freddie Slater, who, of course, did 2 of the rounds earlier on in the season, won 3 races. Outside of that, it has been a very few drivers have been able to take victories or multiple victories. Only Gianmarco Pradal, Alex Ninovic, and Freddie Slater himself. Also, one thing to note on here, as far as I can see, only one driver, or 2 drivers now, one driver before this, had been on the podium in all 3 races. That was Kanato Lee at Spa. Now we have another driver to add to that list, as Gianmarco Pradal will take to 3rd position. We'll take that 3rd step on the podium. Of course, joining him in the 2nd position in the champion in the podium is Deegan Fairclough, who was battling with him for 2nd in the championship, but of course will end up 3rd in the championship. And then, of course, Maxime Rem up to the top step of the podium, our 13th different winner of the season. Obviously, we'll be having the trophies handed out there. Gemma Mole will be handing those out. It's one of the coordinators behind the scenes that makes this fantastic championship happen. Of course, we can't do it without the incredible work from those behind the scenes. And there is a long list of people that, of course, from MSV and MSVR and obviously all of the people doing production, the marshals, all this. There's so many people behind the scenes to bring this championship to life. And then all the mechanics, all the drivers. It is a wild bunch. There is Deacon Fairclough, obviously taking to the steps for his photographs. And again, probably watching out and thinking, right, what's for next year then? Is he returning to the championship? If Deacon Fairclough does, I think he's almost certainly a favourite in the title race. But then, if Rem does return as well, you never know. Wonder which other returning drivers we will have back into this championship, and who will be fighting for the crown in 2026 when we get the updated car out onto the circuit. Spoke about that a little bit earlier on in the broadcast, of course. Piers Pryor was able to give that one a go. Of course, the upgraded engine and various aero bits also upgraded. There is a look down at some of the media personnel, some of the teams, some of the mechanics that are there supporting the drivers, of course, as they'll take a little walk off the podium. I think we'll still have to welcome Alex Ninovic onto the podium, and certainly so. And there we go, the Sunoco Fastest Driver of the Weekend Award. That was down to the incredible laps he was putting in that race to charge his way down on our top lot in the race. Big smiles on his face, and why not? 7th place will be a bitter disappointment from him, of course. He's had 9 victories this season. That means that his win percentage is 37.5%. I don't know what his fastest lap percentage is, but I'm pretty sure it'll be quite high. So yet another Sunoco fastest lap of the Weekend Award going to Alex Ninovic. Omologato Ones to Watch Award. The trophies handed out to him as well over the weekend. We had that at the end of race 2, and of course a superb performance there from Alex Ninovic on that one. See what other trophies we're going to be having. I think we're going to be getting those titles, the trophies handed out once more. I believe Richard Gates will be the one to hand out the trophies. Victories, of course, first, second and third in the championship. Now we have those positions all lined up, with it being still provisionally, I think, second in the championship to Patrick Huizenrode and third position to Deegan Fairclough.
We start from P3 for Deegan.
And we will indeed have Deegan Fairclough taking to the podium once again to receive the larger trophy than what he's just been gathered there. Of course, it will indeed be the third place championship trophy. Second place for Patrick Huizenrode onto that podium, and then of course the top step of the podium going the way of Alex Ninovic. There we go, and I'm sure all the teams down there in huge support of Ninovic. I think this is the one he's more been looking forward to when it comes to collecting trophies. It is the big one. Of course, he might have been crowned champion a few weeks ago. That was obviously in that final race at Donington Park.
Richard Gates, the championship.
And there we go. We will get the championship coordinator, Richard Gates, to hand out the trophies. There's the third place one, of course, to Deegan Fairclough. Second place to Patrick Huizenrode, and the biggest trophy of them all. And I will tell you, it is quite a big trophy. We had a meeting in the room where they had all these trophies earlier on in the weekend, and they are sizable. Of course, don't quite know how they're going to fit them in their luggage on the way home, but we'll have to wait and see. There is Alex Ninovic receiving the trophy from Richard Gates, and again, a superb performance all season long. The only big surprise is that he's only picked up, of the 9 victories, he's only picked up 2 further podiums, which is always a bit of a surprise, but that's because every time he was on the podium, basically, he was winning. He couldn't stop winning all the way through the season, especially in this second half. Absolutely wild. The most victories that any one driver had taken in a single season before this season was 5 victories. He's taken 9 to really blow the record books wide open. Of course, the 13 different victories that we've had, 13 different drivers taking victory this season, has just joined the record with that we had back in 2022 for most different winners in a single season. But again, when it comes to the big prize, it only goes to that man there. But they'll leave the podium and head their way back down to the paddock. I think we've still got the teams champions to hand out as well. Of course, the large trophy, which will be going the way of Rodin after an excellent performance from the Rodin team in totality. Then, of course, their drivers, Alex Ninovic, Gianmarco Bradel, and, of course, Abby Pulling, who, between them, have picked up a whole host of podiums over the 2025 season. Of course, it was 11 for Alex Ninovic. It was 9 podiums for Gianmarco Bradel. And we did have that fantastic podium from Abby Pulling earlier on in the season at Brands Hatch. A lot of podiums, a lot of victories across them, 11 victories over the entire season from the squad. So again, they just pieced together a brilliant championship campaign. They were the dominant team this season, as we had also in GB4 with the likes of Elite. That's very much akin to that, but almost even more impressive somehow. Either way, we'll take a look at highlights from the final race of 2025. Highlights from round 24 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, and it was a fantastic launch from second in the race from Enzo Tarvanitschkel. Maxime Ren was able, though, to hang on, just keeping to the outside as they'd worked their way down into the Rettifilo. It looked to the outside, and with a big push down into that first corner. A bit of a lock-up would send them out wide. Of course, skipping over the inside, along with Abby Pulling. It dropped back in line with Enzo Tarvanitschkel trying to work his way straight through into the race lead. No major dramas in the background, just Patrick Huizenrode running out a little bit wide, but picking up the slipstream of all of those up ahead. Alex Ninovic was on a charge back up the field, working his way around the outside of Jack Sherwood before this mistake would see him lose a couple of positions behind even the likes of August Raber. Up towards the front of the race, we did have a bit of a mistake coming in from Patrick Huizenrode. He was able to skip over and was able to hang on to a couple of positions. Big lock-up coming in from Patricio Gonzalez at the opening corner, and out through the final corner, it was Rem becoming the 13th different winner of 2025. Patrick Huizenrode, though, would take second in the title race. We'll take a look at those provisional standings though after the race. It's Alex Ninovic, of course, again, as always, adding more points to his tally, 524, absolutely incredible. I'm pretty sure that's the highest points tally in GB3's history. Patrick Huizenrode in second position though in the championship, 378, 5 clear of Deegan Fairclough, who himself was a little bit clear of Jean-Marco Pradel. A fantastic fight for second in the title race. Reza Seaworthen was able to keep Keanu Alazari at bay, 5th position in the championship then, and the final super licence point will go the way of the Argenti with Prema driver. Noah Lyle in 7th position with Lucas Flusha. Will McIntyre was still able to hang on to a top 10 in the championship, of course having missed the last couple of rounds. Again, we are all thinking of you, Will, and best of luck, and obviously we'll hope he returns to racing as soon as possible in the near future. Abby Pulling as well was able to sneak her way into the top 10 of the championship. We'll head down though to Piers and Johners, who's down in the paddock, I believe, with Alex Ninovic.
Oh, here we are on the iconic Monza podium with our 2025 champion Alex Ninovic, someone we've talked to a lot of times. You've finally got your hands on the trophy here, 2025 champion. Where is it going to go?
At the moment, probably in the truck and then at the race team in Farnham. But yeah, we'll see what happens after that, whether they let me take it with me.
Now, Piers was commentating on that race, and Piers, you've got a big claim to make about that last race there.
I think that was probably one of the best races of the season so far, definitely from the commentary box. You were up and down the order like a yo-yo. It must have been pretty fun out there for you.
Yeah, it was definitely probably one of the more enjoyable races of the season, having no pressure on, and then starting from 12th, actually dropping back quite a lot with a few incidents with cars around me, and then fighting back to 7th in the end was really, really nice. The car felt amazing, and I just did the best job I could.
And amazing for you to win so many races, win this weekend, win the championship, and then have a fight like that at the end of the year. I mean, I'm sure your confidence is sky high now going into next year.
Yeah, definitely. All year we've been fast, and just in the last sort of 4 or 5 rounds, the pace has just been abundant, really. Like, you can't not be at the front. So yeah, I'm really confident and looking forward to the steps ahead.
There was a moment on the grid just then where you and Deegan were waiting for, I think, something to go on. Maybe it was a champagne or whatever. You didn't actually get champagne at the end there, did you?
No champagne for the championship.
But you said to him, Monza, like a surreal moment, right?
Yeah, definitely. To finish the championship here at Monza is amazing, and to finish on a day like today with great results, and obviously just family, friends and supporters all around, it's definitely a nice feeling.
What's the plan tonight?
I think we'll go out for dinner with a few of our family friends from back home in Australia, so yeah, that'll be nice.
Excellent stuff. Well, look, we've really enjoyed watching you race this year. We're going to keep an eye on your career, see where you go, and thanks for just, giving us some epic moments.
Thank you.
There we go, 2025 champion.
Off you go, mate.
We'll let you enjoy the head off behind me there. We're not going to find any more drivers up here, Piers, because we are very much isolated on this island, but that really was an epic race to end the weekend.
Unbelievable. I mean, there was overtaking up and down the field. Actually, the cleanest race of the weekend. I think the drivers really got the hang of how the racing goes around here, where you need to push, where you need to back off. Really a shining example of how experience of racing on a circuit is valuable. Over the 3 races, it got cleaner and cleaner, closer and closer. And I've said it a number of times this weekend, but a lot of the drivers like Ninovic there, Alex, we just spoke to, and a lot of other drivers will be moving on to bigger and better things, moving in their careers of motorsport, and they will be racing at Monza again in the future, and they'll be able to call on the experience they have this weekend, and a real worthwhile addition to the championship. And I've loved it. I've loved being here. I've loved watching it. It's been a great season, and I can't wait for next year already.
I think I owe an apology to Deegan Fairclough there. I thought he'd been told that he hadn't quite grasped second place, and I think he thought that, yeah, you would have seen it because you were running down the tunnel, but it's okay. He's been told now, and he's in good spirits. Actually, to be fair, we have to give a shout out to the team. Deegan popped his cork over the end there, like fired a huge load onto the team, the champagne going everywhere, really celebrating with the team, because it's been such a massive achievement for everyone. And Deegan's had such a roller coaster of a year, and the team have had to G him up when things haven't been going his way, because we have said this a lot, but when you dominate in the season before, you're going to have that confidence coming in and stepping up a level, and it didn't quite work out for him at the start of the season, and he's really battled to be in the mix and had a great weekend. It's probably it must be his best weekend this weekend.
Oh, I would say, he's won his first race this weekend, and then was right there in the fight in that reverse grid race. I think you're absolutely right there. I think he's had a season that is on paper below expectations, but he's had to battle hard. High Tech, we're used to seeing them at the front pretty easily every single weekend. They haven't had the pace they've had in previous years for whatever reason, but they've got on top of the car by the end of the year. They've got their drivers right there. We saw the amazing drives from Keanu Al-Azari, his teammate from the back of the grid. Deegan fighting for wins. He got the win in race 2, was right there in the lead a couple of times in race 3. Whether we see him back next year, I hope to see him back in the championship. If he does, he'll be a strong favourite because, I mean, just about missing out in second place. If not, he might move on to, series higher as well. Who knows? But he's going to be strong in whatever he ends up in, and hopefully it's seasons like this that really form a driver's career in years to come. A difficult season like this early in your career can actually be more formative and more valuable when you get to World Championship level, because you can call on that experience when times are tough at the highest level.
I think we actually need to give a shout out to another team as well who we haven't highlighted enough this season, I think, and that's Hill Speed. Multiple wins with Freddie Slater. Then we see Maxim Rem today as we fast forward. I know they've had other achievements, and Lucas Felicia, and there are other drivers that have been and gone.
Canate Lee as well.
They've had a rotating kind of list of drivers, but all of those drivers have been incredibly high quality. And for Maxim Rem in his first weekend in GB3, we joked about it before. I said that he knows this track. He stood on this podium before, but this car is brand new to him, and he just took it in his stride, and he's battling it out there with these guys that have been driving this car for 23 races before this last race, and he's holding his own and taking a race victory. And he said there at the end he would love to be in GB3 next year, and you would say straight away, if he's in a competitive car next year, then he's straight into the title picture.
Do you know, I agree with you, and I don't think we shouldn't understate how difficult it is to jump into a championship as competitive as GB3 at the last round of the year, when all the drivers have been fighting all year. They know this car inside out. They've done all the races up till now. So was it 20 up till this race weekend, or 21, plus all the testing they've done. Maxim, yes, he knows the track, is a slight advantage, but to be able to extract the most out of the car, not make a mistake in quali. I mean, he was right there in qualifying, getting inside the top 12, which put him on pole position. And then that race was hugely impressive. I said it on the commentary, I'm going to say it again, because he just didn't put a foot wrong. Like, he lost the lead, recollected himself, he attacked when he needed to, he defended when he needed to, didn't make any mistakes, and held off the drivers that were fighting for second in the championship. No mean feat, and Hillspeed doing a great job, as they have done all year. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Patrick Hudson-Reuter there. We came into this weekend and some people were saying to me, John, but we've already got a champion. It looks like Roden will win the team's championship, but that battle for second, you and Lewis kept us across it incredibly well there. We were watching down here, waiting for them at the top 3 in Parc Fermé. And for Patrick Hudson-Reuter, who was in the title picture, to clinch that second, that was huge for him. When we saw the celebrations over the line, we've seen all the fans, huge cheers when he got his trophy. And we know his family and friends are here, and people who are involved in his progress were going to be super proud. And you would imagine Pat's going to go on to bigger and better things straight away. Yeah, 100%. And you could see how much it meant to him as he came over the line, fist pumping, two extra points in a super license. Also the pride of beating another driver to second. Vice champion, not anti-vice champion, or whatever you're going to call it. I'm sure there's a word for that. I'm not a big fan of the word vice champion, but second place in championship, good result. Just about beating Deegan. It's a great result for the new team to the championship as well in XL. Yeah, well, there we go. We've had a new car, new tracks this year. This really has been the year road in motorsport, and one driver in particular, our 2025 champion, Alex Ninovic, absolutely blowing us away, breaking records as he goes. And of course, we'll have another season next year with 2 brand new tracks in 2026 and an updated car that you probably saw earlier with Piers. If you didn't, you can watch back everything from the pre-show to this race to everything this season on the MSV channel where you're watching right now. And of course, check out the social media as well, where you'll see all the highlights, all the behind the scenes stuff, and all the celebrations as we round out the 2025 season in the GB3 Championship. 5 years in, and we're getting bigger and better. I am already looking forward to seeing you next April at Silverstone for the 2026 Championship.
Alex Ninovic is your 2025 GB3 champion.